Yes, AI will be part of your medical team in the future. At least that's what the article that we are going to discuss today in Journal Club strongly suggests. And if you're new here, my name is Dr. Van Groningen. I am an internal medicine doctor with years of experience working in academic medicine, and I love talking about new studies in the medical literature for people in healthcare and also just people who are interested. And the study that we're going to look at today tested whether AI, a large language model, specifically ChatGPT-4, could help physicians with their decision making in complex real-world patient scenarios. The title was GPT-4 Assistance for Improvement of Physician Performance on Patient Care Tasks, a randomized controlled trial. It was published in Nature Medicine in 2025. Why does this study matter, and why is it a little bit different from what we've seen before? This is an important discussion, important context that we need to lay out. This study is not just about diagnoses. We already know that LLMs, large language models like GPT-4 and others, can actually do this surprisingly well. They can identify zebra, really rare diagnoses, oftentimes better than humans can. But as you might imagine, real medicine involves much more than just making a diagnosis. It also involves the art of patient management. Those are things like, what tests do I order and what order do I want to make sure that they're done in? What's the most important test I do now versus what can wait an hour? If this patient is coming into the emergency room, do I need to admit them, bring them into the hospital, or can I safely send them home? How do I manage competing risks? Let's say the patient really needs this one treatment for their heart, but it could have an adverse effect on their GI system. How do I incorporate the patient's values, what they want, what matters to them? And then a step further, how do I incorporate the clinical environment I'm working in? What tests are actually available to me in this hospital or healthcare system? So all of these elements are what's called management reasoning. These are just much harder to standardize, and this is a field where large language models really haven't performed well in the past. So what this study asked is, does GPT-4 help physicians work through these types of tasks? The study design was, again, a randomized control trial, as was mentioned in the title. It included 92 practicing physicians. The majority, 73%, were attendings. The rest were residents. There were 3 specialties that were included. Primarily, they were from internal medicine. Second most common was emergency medicine. And then the third most common was family medicine. And all of these doctors were given a series of case studies that were based on real patients and asked them to explain, how would you manage these patients? But they were divided into 2 groups. The physicians in one group were asked to solve these cases using standard materials only, using things like Google, UpToDate, PubMed, the medical literature, etc. And the second group had access to all of those resources, plus they had access to GPT-4. And then their responses to how they would manage these, again, real world patient cases were graded using expert-developed scoring rubrics. And the primary outcome that they wanted to look at was, how well do these doctors do? What's their score according to these rubrics? And what they found was that those physicians who were given access to GPT-4 scored significantly higher than the physicians who were only given access to conventional resources. And just to put some numbers on that, the physicians who used the conventional materials alone scored on average 35.7% versus those using the conventional methods plus GPT-4 scored 43%. So a 6-7 percentage difference, which isn't trivial. Not only statistically significant, that's clinically significant. Another interesting finding is that physicians who had access to GPT-4 actually spent more time per case, almost 2 minutes more, 119 seconds. So not only did they have better performance, they appeared to slow down a little bit more. Another really interesting figure that the authors reported was that the risk or likelihood of harm and the severity of harm was similar in both groups. So it wasn't that the GPT-4 suggested more risky things, nothing like that. Both groups were the same. And then here comes the kicker, something a little bit more interesting. When the investigators compared the physicians plus GPT-4 to just GPT-4, no human involved, their scores were roughly equivalent. There was no statistically significant difference between those scores. So that's potentially wild. But big picture, let's do some key takeaways. What does this really mean? So let's just remember, this wasn't about memorization, which, obviously AI can do very well. It wasn't about zebra diagnoses, which we also know AI can do very well. This was about complex patient management decisions. And I just have to say, the fact that a widely available, user-friendly AI application that you can access from your mobile phone could actually help physicians manage patients better is quite frankly stunning because it really illustrates that AI can do a lot more than just helping us reach a diagnosis. It can also help us with risk assessments, with balancing competing harms, with sequencing decisions, what needs to be done right now, right in this moment versus what can wait. And I think that the fact that doctors in the GPT-4 group actually spent more time on each case is reflective of the fact that the AI probably caused them to slow down and to think more thoroughly and be more thoughtful, which interestingly is the opposite of what I think a lot of us may think when it comes to AI. We often think of it as this shortcut, this way to have someone else do the thinking for us so that we don't actually have to slow down and think. But the opposite seemed to be true here. That is at least a little bit reassuring. But before we go to directly using AI in clinical practice, let's talk about some of the strengths and limitations of this study. So obviously there were some key strengths here. These were real physicians. These were real patient cases, obviously not in real time, but these were based on cases in the past. And these were practicing physicians. They weren't students. But of course, there are some real limitations as well. One is that even though these were based on real patients, they weren't real patients in real time. There was no time pressure like we all experience when we're working in the ER or even the inpatient setting. And also, we just have to keep in mind that a performance on a study does not necessarily equate to real world safety. And there are still major concerns when it comes to using AI in the clinical setting that were absolutely not addressed by this study. One, of course, is the fact that we know that large language models tend to confabulate, they tend to hallucinate. And another big risk that we know exists that wasn't necessarily directly addressed here was the risk of over-relying on AI. If we put too much weight in what a potentially hallucinating LLM says, and we don't stop and make sure to put the expert opinion in there, the big picture, the study provides a strong signal that AI, large language models, specifically GPT-4, could help physicians do complex reasoning tasks when it comes to patient management. But we are going to need a lot more real world data before we say, yep, this is ready for prime time. And those studies are being done, so we'll have to see. But for now, I actually remain, quite frankly, pretty hesitant about the use of AI in clinical scenarios, especially when it comes to management. Ask the question and present the case to the AI determines what kind of response that you're going to get. And a lot of physicians haven't been trained in that kind of prompt crafting skill. To be fair, I've already seen a lot of articles come out about this. I think we're going to hear a lot more about how can we train physicians to really craft prompts and work with AI better. But of course, we have to remember, the question here is not, will AI replace doctors? The question is, how do we integrate AI in a way that improves safety without eroding clinical judgment and expertise? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you think of AI in medicine, the future, your concerns, your hopes, your dreams. Of course, if you like this type of content, please follow along. I would love to have you. I would love to hear your future suggestions for Journal Club, anything that you're interested in, questions that you have, and I will see you in the next video.